When you live in a beautiful environment, you have the nature so close to what you plant, and it has to have an effect on the way you see life, on the way you want to cultivate your land.
I grow things that I would like to serve in my restaurant or in your restaurant, in a restaurant. I always felt like we couldn't get the kind of produce that you and I grew up with.
We don't have that mouthfeel that we had last month. Maybe it's starting to get late in the season.
I'm ready to plate the salad of couscous, the asparagus. It makes a dish that is very complex and very refreshing. I'm going there and it's nice. I am with my good friend Eberhard Müller, visiting his farm, Satter Farm, in the North Fork of Long Island. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God, here it's amazing. What a beauty. I didn't know the farm was so close to the water. I mean, the water is right here and they're cultivating vegetables a few yards from the sea. It's hard to believe we are so close to New York.
We're an hour and a half from New York City, and this is one of our big advantages here at Satter Farms. We can get product into the restaurants and to the stores
very fast, right?
Very fast.
You harvest and then it takes a few hours and you are in the city already.
Yes.
Actually, Eberhard was the first chef of Le Bernardin with Gilbert Le Cause, and I replaced him when he left to come here and do this farm. And what is very interesting about it is that he's a farmer, obviously, and he learned the hard way how to really farm the land. But he still has that mentality of a chef, which is very interesting because he still thinks about flavors.
The reason why it's already fairly ready to be harvested, it's because of the water back here, the sea back here. It keeps this place nicely warmed up and it's protected from the harsh winds and so on.
So it's a microclimate that the sea brings.
Exactly.
But I would have always thought that the salt could be a challenge for the plants, isn't it?
It's not. Contrary, we believe, and you will see when we start tasting some of the products that we are growing, this, in my opinion, is some of the most flavorful produce that you will find anywhere in this country. I'm convinced about this. So let's go down and take a look what we have here.
Yes, I want to see what you have in the fields. Yeah. So let's go. I follow you.
Okay.
So the way he's doing the farming is very artisanal. It's a big farm here. I mean, it's not like he has a couple of lettuces growing in the field, but the fact that he's a chef and is so hands-on, he's able to produce a very beautiful product that is superior to what you will find in those gigantic farms, for instance.
This is a Boston lettuce. It's a red Boston lettuce.
It's a red Boston lettuce. And
it just has a little bit more slight bitterness, but it's still creamy and rich in flavor.
Yes, slightly bitter, but it's not overly bitter.
No.
It's not at all.
No, not at all. I mean, think about it. You put a little bit lemon juice and buttermilk dressing on this here, you know, or maybe a little bit honey or something.
The chef is talking again.
I know, but I grow things that I would like to serve in my restaurant or in your restaurant, in a restaurant. So this is why we started this farm, because I always felt like we couldn't get the kind of produce that you and I grew up with.
So when I was testing the lettuce in the field, suddenly I tasted the lettuce from when I was 5 years old in a garden with my grandfather. I storage flavor from a very young age. And to me, a lettuce tastes, in my mind, a certain way. An artichoke tastes a certain way, a potato a certain way. And those are my references. Can I try it? Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, there is the guy with a fish knife.
Oh God, it's like I'm filleting fish. Actually,
yeah,
I
not
did
bad,
it. It's not bad. It's not bad for a beginner.
Yeah, you'll be here for about 12 hours.
Okay, I did my contribution to the farm.
Okay.
So Eberhard, what will be interesting will be to make an experience and trade jobs for 1 week. I come here, you come to the restaurant, and I'm sure you're going to escape and try to come back here as soon as you can.
I don't know about that because, you know, I start at 4:30 in the morning here. I know you guys, you hang out in the kitchen until 11 or 12 o'clock. At least in my days at the Bernardin, that used to be the case. But we can talk about it. But you know what? I have a better idea. Let's go eat.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's go have lunch. I agree.
Great. Okay. Open the door. Oh, dump it in here.
It's always very important to wash the salad 3 or 4 times, because what you don't want is to have a grain of soil or sand in your salad. And the mash, because it's so tiny, the leaves on the mash, has the tendency to keep a little bit of soil on it. Here, what we have, I think, is a chunk, right, Eberhard? A beef chunk that you poach.
This is a little bit of a chuck, and this is from a beef shank. We very often have cold beef around. We make soups with the broth, or stews with the broth, and so I always, and it's something that I can have in my refrigerator, and I can have.
And it's easy.
We can put in together a quick lunch or dinner. I don't like to spend days in the kitchen anymore. I don't have the time for it.
Can you repeat that, Eberhard?
Hours.
We have some marrow here, so I'm going to remove it from the bone, and we will add the marrow to the meat. So I'm slicing the marrow, which is very flavorful, very rich, and I love marrow on toasted bread or on meat with a little bit of rock salt and pepper. It brings some very rich flavor into your cooking. We have the chimichurri that we just made.
Yes.
Chimichurri is a mix of chopped herbs with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. So you have some garlic, chives, mint, basil, parsley, whatever you find in a garden or in a farm. And then you mix it with some chili peppers to give some spiciness. And not only it's giving flavor to the food, but it's also supposedly helping you to digest the meat. So
anytime you put a lot of herbs on something, it will be very good for you. It's very healthy to eat lots of herbs.
And we are going to eat our dish on the terrace outside.
Okay, let's go outside.
Ça vient la salade, tout ça. Exactly like a painter will refer to certain colors on a palette, my mind goes back to those references of flavors. And then it's very disappointing when you cannot get the flavor back. In the field, I was so happy to be able to test it and say, that's the right salad. So that for me was a very strong moment, almost an emotional moment of happiness, finding again something that you find very rarely again.
When we were talking with Eberhard about flavors, it's what is the most important when we are cooking, is flavors. So very often with Eric and Chris, we test products and randomly we choose something that we want to test and we compare it with our flavor profile. So we have here today some caviar and we actually receive caviar every day, so we test the caviar every day, making sure that the flavor is right for us. And what we are looking in the caviar really is to make sure that it's not over salty, it is not muddy, it is not fishy, it has to have a little bit of nuttiness. We look at the quality of the grains, at the color of the caviar, if it's oily or not. So here, it's a beautiful quality product in terms of look. Now, in terms of flavor, we are going to try and see. So, Eric, you want to try?
Sure, always.
It's a good caviar.
Yeah.
Saltiness and everything.
If I have to criticize it a little bit, I will say it has a slight bitterness toward the end, but it still makes this caviar a superior product. It still makes it delicious. What do you think, Chris?
I'm liking the flavor too. What I'm thinking about the texture of the eggs are starting to get a little bit soft, in my opinion. Don't you think we don't have that mouthfeel that we had last month. Maybe it's starting to get late in the season for it. Do you feel that at all?
Yes, they're becoming softer, actually, because the harvesting of the caviar is periodically spaced during the year. Some harvests are producing caviar which is very, very fresh, therefore the eggs are firm. And then a few months later, the caviar has the tendency to be cured by the salt, and therefore the eggs are a little bit more soft, and it's what we are experiencing right now.
Yeah.
What is important when we try vegetables, it's to see if they have the same flavor again as yesterday or the previous week or the previous month. We have first of all to choose the best product for the flavor, and then sometimes adapt with our recipes to really catch the essence of the product. So I'm starting. This one doesn't have too much sweetness. It has a little bit of bitterness, and in a carrot I like when it's sweet.
It's almost green, right?
Almost like a green carrot,
like a-
exactly.
yeah,
Like
sure.
it's not
Right.
ready, not ripe.
Yeah.
And this one,
Better
it's much
flavor.
better product.
Like a mature carrot.
Better flavor, yes.
So it's really proving that the big carrot, in terms of raw product, has a better flavor than this one.
Yeah.
Do we know what we have here, Chris?
Yeah. We have an organic carrot from Upstate Farms, New York, and we have another regular carrot from Upstate Farms, New York.
Okay, so definitely we're choosing that farm.
Yeah.
I mean, as a raw product, let's try now the cooked products. And I'm going to try this one since it was not the best one, really. Cooked, it doesn't even taste like a carrot.
Yeah.
It tastes almost like a turnip, which is crazy for a carrot to taste like a turnip.
Really no sweetness whatsoever in that.
No, not at all. It's not pleasant.
It's
Yeah.
fully bland, watery, kind of.
And it doesn't look like it could be watery, but it is, in flavor at least.
It's much better.
This one is really delicious.
Yeah.
And cooking the product really multiply the qualities of the carrot. It's
The flavor.
really- the flavor is much stronger cooked like that. So we have definitely that one to be used in the kitchen.
Okay.
Coming back from the farm of Eberhard inspired me to go and find some vegetables. I find on the market some asparagus, some turnips and carrots, radishes, some baby bok choy, some tomatoes, and we are going to make a dish with some couscous made just with cauliflower. So I am going to start with the asparagus that we are going to blanch. So blanching means cooking in boiling water with some sea salt, and that will not only cook the vegetables but also give flavor to it. And by putting the asparagus in boiling water or any green vegetable in boiling water, I will preserve the color if I put them after cooking in some ice water. So we will see that in a minute. I have some asparagus and I'm going to cut them, and they are going in the boiling water. Then we have the baby bok choy. Bok choy is like a Chinese cabbage that's very sweet in flavor and cooks very fast. It's very nice in a salad. What I want to have as a consistency with the bok choy, it's something a little bit crunchy. So with the knife, I go through it, and I noticed that there was a slight resistance. Therefore, the bok choys are ready, and they are going into that colander. So, as you can see, the color is going to stay very bright. And what you don't want to do is to keep the vegetables too long in the water, because you will wash all their flavor. They are ready, so we're going to remove them, and for the moment keep them here. You can do that a few hours before your meal. You can do that actually almost a day before you eat them. The asparagus, I'm going to check, but I think they are ready too. So with the knife, I go through it, and they are tender, so they are cooked, and they go straight into the bath of cold water. The asparagus has a very, very strong flavor. The bok choy is much softer in terms of intensity and flavors. Therefore, you don't cook them together, you cook them separately. As soon as the asparagus are cold, I remove them from that water, and we're going to keep them here. So for the turnips, I'm going to cut the end right here, and then with the knife, I'm going to peel it, but keeping the stem on the top, just like that. So you have to be using a small, sharp knife to do that. And what is interesting in a turnip is that the skin and the wood develops on the outside. I don't know if you have noticed in the carrots, but the heart of the carrot, it's very woody. In the turnips, it's the contrary. It's not in the center, it's on the outside. When you peel a turnip, it takes a little bit more skin. I'm going to split the turnips, and they are going in boiling salted water. Now we are going to peel the carrots, and I'm going to peel them like that. And by doing that, I just take out the delicate skin that the carrot has and keep most of the body of the carrot. I just finish the job by peeling it a bit more carefully. I'm going to split the carrots. They are going into salted water. I'm keeping an eye on my turnips, and I'm going to check if they are ready or not. Yes, they are. So again, ice water that stops the process of cooking, preserve the colors and the flavors. And you can see the color is very green. And now we are going to make a cauliflower couscous. I'm using the florets of the cauliflower, and the florets are this part. And we are going to break them into small pieces, and then we will put it in a food processor. So the real couscous is a grain that comes from North Africa. It's used very often with some stew meat, with some vegetables. It's a great garnish, and it's made of wheat. And the couscous is cooked in water. It's steamed sometimes, and they make salads also with it, tabbouleh with it. But here we are not using any of that grain. We are going to use our cauliflower. So I use a food processor, and we are going to put the florets in it, and we are going to make our couscous. And if you look closely, you will see that the cauliflower now has the consistency of the couscous, which is basically a semolina. We are going to put our couscous or cauliflower into the pan, and I'm going to cook it with a little bit of water, a bit of salt, and it's going to cook very, very quickly. It's going to take probably about 2 or 3 minutes when it's boiling. So I'm going to check the carrots, make sure they're cooked. You see when the knife comes back, it means they are tender, they are cooked. So they are going into the ice water. I don't want to boil the cauliflower too much because it will be overcooked and lose its texture, and I want to have a little bit of crunch. So I'm checking the texture, and it's maybe 1 more minute. It's a bit hard right now, and then it will be perfectly cooked. Let's see our carrots. If they are cold, I want them to be cold in the center. Every vegetable should be very, very cold in the center. And if they are not, the color will change. And also in terms of flavor, you will not have all the flavors from the vegetable. So we have the carrots, we have the asparagus, the bok choy, the turnips. I'm going to bring them here. We are going to remove the cauliflower that cooked briefly in salted water. And it has now the consistency of couscous. And I'm going to add some more vegetables into it. So we have all our ingredients that we need here. So I'm going to take the cauliflower couscous, put it here in a bowl, and I'm going to season with a little bit more salt, some pepper. I'm putting some lemon juice. I'm going to use some extra virgin olive oil. And also I'm going to add some fresh herbs. So we have some mint, we have some parsley, and we are going to slice it and chop it. It's very fresh. The lemon and the herbs are bringing a lot of brightness to my salad of couscous. And I'm going to make now a vinaigrette. So for the vinaigrette, I'm going to use some argan oil. Argan oil is an oil that comes from North Africa, from Morocco. I like it with the vegetables because it has that very nutty flavor that complements the flavor of the vegetables. If you cannot find some argan oil, you can always substitute it with hazelnut oil or walnut oil, something that has a lot of nutty flavor, like almonds also have a nice flavor. So we're starting with a bit of mustard, some salt, some white pepper, and then I'm going to add some champagne vinegar in it. a tiny bit. Mix it before I incorporate the oil. And then I'm using the argan oil, so it's a strong oil. So I may mix it with a little bit of vegetable oil just to make it less powerful. We have some canola oil here, and we are going to add a drizzle of it. I'm going to try the vinaigrette, make sure it tastes good. A bit more oil and it will be fine. And I'm ready to plate the salad of couscous with my vegetables. I'm using a ring mold just to make it very clean and neat in the plate. I'm going to start with the cauliflower couscous. Just push a little bit with the spoon, make it flat, and that will support the vegetables that are going to go on top. I'm going to put some salt on top of them and some pepper. And then they are going in the bowl where I'm going to season them with some vinaigrette. We are going to dress them nicely. I have some arugula. I'm going to add a little bit of arugula leaves to go with it. I'm going to remove the ring mold and I'm going to plate the vegetables on top of the couscous like that, playing with the textures, the colors, the flavors. The bok choy can go on top. We have some of the cherry tomatoes, a little bit of the radish, the asparagus, carrots, some of the arugula, and we're building not only the dish with colors, but with flavors. A few more leaves of arugula, one more tomato, and with the rest of the vinaigrette, I'm going to drizzle around, and we have a beautiful salad of vegetables. And now it's time to taste. We have a very refreshing vegetable salad that looks very fancy. The couscous really brings some brightness to the dish again with the acidity of the lemon, the olive oil and the herbs. However, every vegetable tastes like its own. Exactly like in a farm when I was with Eberhard testing the salad, I could taste really the real flavor of that salad. Here, I can taste the cauliflower, I can taste the carrots, I can taste the turnips, and so on. It makes a dish that is very complex and very refreshing. Santé, cook from life.
You know, Michael Corleone got it completely wrong. All business is personal. Eric calls up and says, let's play. I play. There's certain people in your life who call you up 4 o'clock in the morning and say, meet me on the corner of Avenue D and 4th Street and bring a handgun and a stolen car, a tarpaulin and some duct tape. You don't ask why, you just go.
Sex, drugs, rock and roll and food. Today my guest, Anthony Bourdain. And everything is on the table. When did you start to have problems with drugs?
Any illusions I had about being the next Paul Bocuse, chances are there were chemicals involved in that. From age 13 or 14 on, me and my friends defined ourselves by not just what records we were listening to, but what drugs we were doing, okay? So I arrived in college at age 17, like, where's the coke and the acid and whatever else?
And that was already fashionable?
No, we were sort of ahead of the curve on the cocaine thing.